it's Nicola Bird here from alittlepeaceofmind.co.uk. Today in our A to Z of sanity, we are on the letter D, and I wanted to share with you a resource today. So today D is for Dicken, and Dicken is Dr. Dicken Bettinger, and he's been a good friend and a mentor of mine for the past couple of years in teaching and sharing with me this understanding that has brought peace of mind, well-being, a beautiful life to so many people around this planet. Sydney Banks was the original person who had an enlightenment experience and really saw for himself the truth of the three principles that lie behind all the work that I and my colleagues in this area do. And Dicken was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Sid Banks. I didn't get the opportunity to meet with Sid Banks. He died before I discovered this understanding, but Dicken spent decades learning and spending time with Sid. And so he's kind of one of the ways that is the closest way I get to spending time with Sid Banks. And my guess is that where a lot of people will talk about what they learned from Sid Banks, I'll be sitting here telling you about what I learned from Dicken Bettinger and other mentors as well. But Dicken is the point today. And so really what I wanted to do is I wanted to read you a portion from his book today. His book he wrote with Natasha Swerdloff, and it's called Coming Home, and you can find it on Amazon and all that. But and also you can just Google Dicken Bettinger and you'll find him all over YouTube. He's very generous with sharing his time and his resources. We also have some podcast episodes with him at A Little Peace of Mind as well. So I'll try and add links to that somewhere in this video for you. But I wanted to read you a little portion from his book today. So this is about, I think the chapter is called Living in Harmony with the Principles. So bear with me because I'm actually just going to read this to you. So waking up to the power of thought. I just want you to listen today. Like just sit back, chill out and listen. There is nothing solid or permanent in your thinking. Every thought you have comes and then it goes. The instant you have a new thought, the last thought you had no longer exists. This is the illusory nature of your thinking. You already have built into you everything you need to recognize the nature of this ever-shifting creative process. You can realize the illusory nature of thought. You can realize that every thought that is created is not true in and of itself. Every thought is neutral. It is a temporary condensation of energy that doesn't mean anything unless you believe it to be true and ascribe meaning to it. You may have the thought, I am stupid, but that thought is not truth. It is only a made-up interpretation. It is just a thought. It is not reality. It is only a construct. It is just energy. It is like a cloud that appears and then disappears in the sky. It is like smoke that dissolves into thin air. It is like a mirage that appears real until you look at it from up close and you see that there is no real substance to it. It is like a rope that you, for a moment, believed was a snake. The snake is just an illusion. Just for a moment, consider what it would be like if you realized not a single thought that you had was true. In that moment, you would be completely free of the influence of any concepts that were created in your head. You would be free of the apparent truth of your judgments, your doubt, your worries, your self-limiting thoughts, and your shoulds. This is what Sid Banks called the state of no thought, a state of pure awareness, free of the contamination of your conceptual mind. In this state, you would wake up out of the illusion of thought into the eternal now. You would be free of your conceptual ego-bound mind, free of concepts. There is no inside and no outside. What is just is. You have the ability to wake up from the illusion of your personal thoughts and to realize the true nature of thought. Then you don't have to be afraid of your thoughts and feelings. You don't have to try and drop your thinking or get rid of it or get away from it. Your psychological suffering is simply a function of mistaking your own thought content for truth. Every feeling is always created from thought. Every feeling is only created from thought. When you wake up to this fact, you realize the true source of your feelings. Feelings can then serve to point you back towards the source. When you feel any degree of sadness, anger, or fear. Such feelings are like an alarm clock waking you up to the power of thought. Feelings that can then serve to point you to your true self, the formless spiritual dimension of your being. It truly is like waking up from a dream. When you wake up from a nightmare, you are relieved that it's all over. It was just a dream. You have woken up from the apparent reality of what you had been thinking while you were asleep. In the same way, when you wake up from a daymare of insecure thoughts, stressful thoughts, or upset thoughts, you can experience relief that they are just made up thought constructs and not reality. Your experience of life is not set in stone. Your experiences are like clouds that come and go. You no longer have to believe your daymare. You wake up to a reality free of the limitation of these thoughts. It can be very helpful for you to wake up out of what might be called negative or self-limiting thinking. You may think, for example, I'm insecure, I'm not lovable, I'm a failure, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good at. Or you might think, I know, I am right, I am better than you, I'm more spiritual than you, or I am great at. If you identify with these thoughts as being true of you, then you don't realize they're just made up ideas and interpretations. It's just thought. Psychological suffering derives from the belief that a negative or self-limiting thought is true. At any moment, you can be living from a self-limiting conceptual view. It is simply a moment when you've lost sight of the invisible and essential dimension of life. It is the most natural thing in the world to lose sight of this dimension. When you are born, you experience life directly rather than through the filter of your conceptual mind. This is me, not Dicken. See a baby's experience of coronavirus, right? Is without any concepts, without any ideas. There's just an experience of life as it is in this moment. It's thought that adds all the piles and piles of worry and meaning and what ifs and future-based thinking on top of all of that. After all, you're born into a physical world, have a physical body, and your senses allow you to see objects all around you. Then, as your conceptual mind develops, you focus on and think about objects. As time goes on, you become more and more identified with your thinking, your concepts, your ideas. You start to believe wholeheartedly that your concepts are true. Concepts are an interpretation. Any interpretation is partial and therefore limited or distorted. Any concept taken to be ultimately true brings you out of the harmony with life. The conceptual mind is not the problem. It's when you become wedded to the narrow, limited views of your conceptual mind that you suffer. Waking up to thought frees you from the limitations of your conceptual mind. Paradoxically, it also allows you to use your conceptual mind more wisely. Free of limiting concepts, your mind is open to experience life directly. You are able to see with fresh eyes and be in harmony with life. You're able to be present with life as it is right now in this moment, rather than indulging in all the future-based thinking about what might happen, what might happen, what might happen. So I hope you enjoyed that snippet. If you want some homework today, go and have a look at Dicken online, and you will find a whole heap of resources from him. And yeah, I would rather be listening to that than scanning through the news reports at the moment, but that's just my take on it. I'll be back with you with another video again tomorrow. In the meantime, keep washing your hands, keep well, and just let me know if you're enjoying these videos, and share them. Please share any that you find. Some of them will resonate more for you than others, and that's fine. If you find one you like, please share, because we're getting some lovely response and feedback, and we're really able to help and support people in this way, but we can only do it if you share. So again, lovely hanging out with you again today, and I will be back with you again tomorrow. Take care.